Hello and welcome to Rooted Cosmic Soul. I'm Deidre. I haven't done a collective reading or really dropped a video in quite a while. As many of us are, on a healing journey and an ever evolving, always happening, awakening path. So it hasn't been right for me to leave my own energy to engage the larger collective. I haven't really wanted to, but for the past maybe month, I've been getting a consistent message to do a collective reading based on, where I'm at now, where I'm at now compared to where I was when I was doing readings before on this channel. So here we are. I am answering the call from my higher self, from the goddess, to do this. This is going to be a collective reading. And I'm pretty sure for the most part, I'm only going to be doing collective readings for a very specific audience. And it's an audience that I call healing healers and generational transmuters. I'm going to put a link in the description box, linking to my website where I define how what I'm calling healing healers and generational transmuters. You may read that and feel like that speaks to who you are, but that's not your label. And that's okay as well, right? Like in a structure, in an experience, in a reality in which words and labels help us decipher and discern, those are the words and labels that I use. Healing healers, generational transmuters, but you might have different, and that's okay too. So I'm going to do what I call an insight conversation. This is a little bit different than I think, the average read that you might find on YouTube. Definitely folks who do similar, very customized different types of readings for sure. But this isn't your traditional tarot reader. This is not predictive. This is not meant to have insight into others. This is, if it meets you, an insight conversation is just that. It is an offering for you to have some considerations for insight into your own path. Like I said, this is particularly for folks who in these times see themselves as healing healers, generational transmuters, because we are really in right? We are in pretty precarious, dangerous, chaotic, unknown times. And those of us who do identify that way, there's a myriad of other ways that one could identify that puts us in the lineup for those to be targeted. And so I understand that worry and that reality, and there are things that I'm doing that help me stabilize, that help me ground, that help me process this moment in time, and still choose courage and still choose to be my authentic self. Like when all of this switch up in the world's happened, started to happen. I mean, I guess the world has always been in a switch up, right? But I've been in this world of like really going inward for about a decade now. And the last year has significantly been about me healing wounds from past lives, ancestral wounds, a lot around voice, around agency, choice, understanding power. And for those who are in this world, so basically a lot of healing the witch wound that has to do with activating the throat chakra, the solar plexus. So I've been doing a lot of work in connecting throat, solar plexus, and root, and connecting my crown, my third eye, and my heart, and attempting to move from there. So that's where I'm at. And like I said, Spirit has been asking me to do a collective reading. I don't know who this is for, so hopefully if you found it, you'll find something here. I cleared a bunch of card decks. The bulk of this is going to be... Actually, I can't say that. I'm using a deck that is one that I created called Transmuting the I Oracle. Again, there'll be a link in the description if you want to know more about it. It's not one that like I sell or anything. It's one that I made for my own development and desire to work with folks, but I wanted a different type of channeling. So we're going to use that. We're going to use other decks that I pulled in that spoke to me for this message. I'm going to use a layout from my insight options called People, Place, and Planet. So this is going to be a conversation that offers information on how to transmute the I in relationship to this moment and the people, place, and planet you may find yourself in. And so we're going to start with a card from Kim Cran's Archetypes. And this is meant to just give us sort of a sort of grounding understanding of the energy that's flowing in, the message that's coming in from spirit. Oh, and actually I was going to say, I'm going to slow down for a moment because I forgot. When I sat down with this energy, I definitely felt the heart chakra, right? Immediately. I think there's just a lot of worry. There's a lot of compassion that's being held by those of us who consider ourselves healing healers and generational transmuters. And so I want to acknowledge that. And as I was sitting here and going through the decks to use and, clearing them out, shuffling them, I also got the message for tea, like whatever spirits are here, energies that are here wanted tea. So I made some tea for them. And so this might be a moment where you pause the video if you are a tea drinker as well. Maybe go get some tea if you don't already have some, and have some tea while taking this message in. Yeah, thank you for that reminder, Spirit. So, reminder, you definitely arrived here for a reason. Use your discernment of what messages are for you or not for you. It's a collective message, so all of it might resonate. Some of it might resonate. None of it might resonate. I'm literally using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decks that were called to me. There are also decks that I like that I use in my own sessions with myself. But I definitely felt there were different reasons that they were being pulled in. So only, one card from that deck might be what speaks to you from this reading, and that's okay. You don't necessarily have to identify with everything. But again, that's your choice. If that's how you go into situations like this, well, stick with what you do. But so we're going to open with this Archetypes deck. It's really beautiful round Archetypes deck. That's going to give us an idea. Spirit's going to give us an idea of like what is sort of grounding us as we move into this message. For the collective in this moment, doing this reading in late February, but really whenever you come to this, late February 2025, but whenever you come to this reading, okay, the deck is ready. She's like, stop shuffling me, Deidre. You did it enough. Okay. Whenever you come to this reading, that's when you come to this reading. So what is grounding us? The offering. The offering. So Kim Cran's has these amazing guidebooks that we're not even going to attempt to guesstimate, but let me see. Let's look at this. I'm drawn to the moon, and actually I think that moon might be very similar to where we are because we're moving into the new moon very soon, so that's beautiful. Synchronicity. It's an offering, so let's see. It's either an offering is being offered to you, spirit, energy, your higher self, your ancestors are making an offering to you. It could be this reading or you already experiencing the offering. We're definitely in a astrological time of really beautiful planetary energy that's making offerings to us to shift how we see, how we understand. And it's like, sort of like maybe some folks are like, I know a lot of healing healers and generational transmuters have been in a void, have been in a sort of holding space. And it's sort of coming into more, lots of stuff that's in that area there. So let's let's see. Okay. So it's definitely in the L's here. Okay, the offering. This is the gift, the present, the sacrifice. Unlike many other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed, it is time for something to be given and given up for the sake of the bigger picture. If nothing comes to mind immediately, though it's likely it will, take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses. But recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. So the first thing that's coming to mind for me for this is like, as you're processing that message, remember that it can be an energetic offering as well. So like for me, as I read that, I was like, the message that's coming in for me from this is definitely fear. Like the offering is to give up fear. What am I giving? Like, I'm going to give up fear in these times. And so it could be that, but your offering, go with your intuition. It could be, giving up a substance, sugar. It could be giving up gossip. It could be all kinds of stuff. Go with your intuition. And one of the offerings here is once a week, Gandhi gave up speaking for a day, offering himself to divine silence. The offering can come in all shapes and sizes. Ashe, exactly. If there's a gift you've been thinking of giving someone special, now is the time. So this energy of the offering, when it's in divinity, we're looking at generosity, donation, volunteering. When it's out of balance, we're looking at you're giving with expectations, or you're keeping track of your giving. And if you want to go deeper, Odin's sacrifice of his eye in Norse mythology, you can look that up. So that's grounding us. This idea of an offering. This idea of an offering, of a sacrifice. And we may come back to that. Let me hold that page so it's easy to get to it. Something to be given up. So we're going to look at the rest of these cards kind of with that in the back of our minds of like, okay, how do we go a little bit deeper inwards, right? We're going inward. So originally when we're going to also draw from the divine feminine to have an idea of what divine feminine energy is walking with us as we go through this message and this offering, which is really, I love that the card was pulled as offering, because that's what I always call these insight conversations. They're an offering, they're considerations. It's not predictive, it's not directive. It's meant for you to use your discernment, your intuition of what works for you and what doesn't. And I will say this, that paying attention to yourself, your residences and your resistances are really important. But even in the resistance, it may mean resistance is it's just not for you and you want to walk away from it. Also, resistance can sometimes be a very clear message that you need to step into it, right? So you discern and decipher which it is. But originally I was going to close with this deck called the Divine Feminine by Megan Watterson. And I'll put a list of the decks I'm using in the description as well. But and then I got a very clear, when I was shuffling in, a very clear message. She was like, no, absolutely not. I want to be at the beginning. So this is going to be the energy that is grounding us, grounding us, helping us move through processing the message that's being given. So Perpetua, the saint of authenticity. I am authentic in all circumstances. So the immediate thought that popped in my head was the offering could be for someone, the offering is inauthenticity. The offering, like I said, like, that idea of fear. I think many of us in this moment are experiencing a lot of fear around how we identify, how we move in a world that feels like the toxic masculinity, patriarchy is really powering over and coming in for us. And so an offering, Perpetua is standing with us, the saint of authenticity. And the mantra is, I am authentic. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. And she's actually standing there with the 2-finger thing that a lot of people know from a pop culture movie with the bird. I think I can't remember the name, but those of you who know it. So if that movie really moves you, this might be, it might be a synchronicity, a sign for you that Perpetua is definitely in your presence, in your energy field, working with you. So who is Perpetua? Let's give her space and read about her. We call that energy in and thank her for showing up. And this is not alphabetical orders. Let's check this out. Perpetua. 22. Perpetua, saint of authenticity. The Catholic saint Vibia Perpetua shows us the power of authenticity. Perpetua was a noble woman who married... Sorry, I'm reading it wrong because I'm getting messages as I read this. Okay, so the definite message is that since I asked spirits to bring this in for this moment in time for healing healers and generational transmuters, it is definitely around authenticity. So it's twofold, right? That offering of giving your most authentic self to whatever it is you're doing right now, and to release the fear. So it could be a multiple sacrifice, the sacrifice of fear, giving that fear up, which, giving up fear doesn't necessarily mean throwing all caution to the wind. That's not what giving up fear means. To me, giving up fear means acknowledging the fear, acknowledging the part of you, that tender, beautiful part of you that is experiencing fear, and be in conversation with that part. That's what transmuting the I is. It's going inward, having a conversation. If you're a journaler, journal with them, right? If you're a drawer, draw with them. If you're a singer, sing with them. If you're a runner, run with them. If you're a dancer, dance with them. If you're an audible person, record a voice recording to them. Be in relationship with them to figure out, to just hear them. What do they need? And figure out what can you do to face that fear. So there might be more cautions that you need, more protections, more boundaries that you need to put in place. But that's what I'm getting. So both the offering is your authenticity to the world. Give up the mask. Give up showing up as someone else. So I'll back to this. Perpetua was a married noblewoman and mother living in 3rd century Carthage, which is modern day Tunisia in North America. So I need to show you the cars here. Which is modern day Tunisia in North Africa. Roman Emperor Septimus Severus forbade any conversions to Judaism or Christianity. In celebration of his birthday, several catacombs, or Christians being instructed in the faith, were arrested. Perpetua, along with a pregnant slave named Felicitas, were among them. Those who would not renounce their faith were sentenced to a public death in the arena. While Perpetua awaited her trial, she kept a prison diary. The Passion of Saint Perpetua has become one of the oldest and most extraordinary early Christian texts. At one point in The Passion, Perpetua describes a vision from her father. he begs her to renounce Christianity. She asks him, "See that pot lying there? Can you call it by any other name than what it is?" And when her father answers no, of course not, Perpetua continues, "Neither can I call myself by any other name than what I am, a Christian." The name Perpetua is derived from the Latin perpetuus, meaning continuous. Even though her father visited several more times to plead with her to be a dutiful daughter, wife, and mother, Perpetua refused to renounce her faith in Christ, and she maintained this truth as paramount at a time when a woman's societal role was defined by her father and husband. Her prison diary also relates her relationship with Saint Felicitas and the class structures that Christianity transcends. Even though one is a noble woman and one a slave, they died in the arena together in 203 CE as equals and as sisters. When your soul selects her card, when we find the courage to be true to who we are, a vitality returns to us, a voice that's both moving and compelling simply because it's authentic. Saint Perpetua's words in her very personal and emotional diary were so impactful that 200 years ago, the renowned church father Augustine would write about their beauty and truth. Saint Perpetua suggests that there is no greater power than choosing to remain our authentic self in all circumstances. She's that person who remained loyal to her soul, but she urges us through her example to embrace the power of being authentic now. Even in the face of death, she courageously held fast to her truth that she was a Christian. Her right hand reveals the Christ mudra. I didn't know that that's what that mudra was. Beautiful. Thank you for that knowing. She also reminds us that journal writing can be a sacred act of returning to ourselves, of listening to the soul voice inside us, and of going inward to find our answers. Perpetua is a call to a journal writing practice, even if it's just to record our dreams each morning. The inner voice that greets us as we write strengthens our authenticity. That voice becomes a light, a fire that calls us and claims us as we dare to live out its truth. If you're looking for a prompt, the prompt is, what is the truest statement I can say about who I am? Beautiful. So I want to say that while the author hones in on this idea of journal writing, yes, and as a writer myself, that's what I've been doing and I love it, but I want to be clear that that's not everybody's medium, and also it's not accessible to everyone, right? It's not all of us have hand. And so whatever medium you want to use, if the intention is to connect with your authentic self, to hone into Perpetua's energy, do that. Also, know that this is energy, right? This is divine feminine energy. So the representation is a Christian saint, or Catholic saint rather. But that energy of authenticity, that energy of stepping into courage is not relegated simply to the Catholic religion, right? So however you identify, remember that I said discern and decipher. So for me, like, I don't identify with Catholicism at all. I'm a recovering Christian. I was raised in a Christian cult. I don't identify as a Christian anymore. But I can understand the energy of Perpetua in terms of that fear of holding on to one's beliefs, that authentic self, as I opened this reading with, right? Like a lot of us as healers and generational transmuters right now, we're here to step into that courage to be our authentic selves in the face of a very severe and dangerous power over patriarchy. And so step into that and the energy that you want to step into, right? So yeah, I think that's enough. I'll leave it there. So thank you, Saint Perpetua. So from there, I'm going to step into the Transmuting the I deck. And I'm going to pull 3 cards because we're doing the people, place, and planet insight into the self. And what this does is we're going to look at card 1 is people. Card 1 is, where am I in the journey of responding and reacting to people, place, and moment? Right? So this moment right now, where am I in reacting to, where am I in the journey of responding and or reacting? The second question is, what is an intention to consider regarding responding and reacting to people, place, and planet? So that would be the second card. And then the third card is going to be, what is a sign for an alignment process? What is a sign for an alignment process? Again, and Spirit is like, you have shuffled that enough, Deidre. You know, with it. Okay. Okay, so in the Transmuting the I Oracle deck that I created, the first 22 cards are channel through the tarot energy, the major arcana energy in the tarot, in the traditional tarot. So we pulled one of those for our second card, and then the rest of the deck is cut into offered in 5 areas of spirit, love, heart, mind, and truth. Sort of pulling on the divine feminine energy of the 5-pointed star. And we pulled a heart, and heart is about messages from the divine feminine, really about exploring, understanding, and stepping into one's feelings, emotions, intuition, flow, and heart-based action. So already I'm just getting a feeling of like that authentic self, that offering that is being suggested here. That offering from yourself is like, if you've been thinking about how do I, what is being asked of me as I move forward in this time, it might be an offering of giving. Like I said, giving up the fear and stepping in the authentic self. Here it's specifically looking at regarding your intuition. Because we live in a world that's all about logic. It's very skewed toward masculine energies. Not talking about gender, I'm talking about energies, masculine energies of logic, of thought, of moving fast, of linear. Whereas the polarity to that is the feminine energies of intuition, of emotion, of flow, non-linear movement. And so this is coming in as a number 7 card. So some knowledge, either this is going to be new knowledge to you, or it's beefing up your awareness, or there's something that you're thinking back on around your relationship to your intuition. And it's really coming in deeply from the divine feminine. She really wants you to step into that energy of exploring, understanding, and stepping into your intuition. And so that might be where you are. Where am I in the journey of responding and reacting to planet, place, and people? Is that it might feel a little bit safer and easier to move into the head right now. And that's fine. like, take care of yourself, do what you need to do. But there's a clear message coming in for you to consider, to maybe, put that on hold, and step into your heart space, and really start paying attention to your intuition. So if for those of us who are a little bit more along the path, it could be connecting your heart energy center chakra to your third eye energy center, and just start trying to decipher your intuition through the heart channel, and lean into perpetua courage to do that, right? Like I said, because particularly we're in a society, we're in a global westernized society that has really been pushing the mind. So it will take some courage to do the polarity to that, which is the heart, right? And figuring out where's the balance between the mind and the heart. the second card is as a journey card. It's number 11. So the equivalent is, I believe that's the justice card. Yeah. Which makes sense for these times, and so we're talking about this. It's forgiveness, very specific for this card. This idea of remember and regard your imminent power. So the connection between that's that imminent power, is that imminence within you, that you are worthy, perfect, and whole, exactly as you are and exactly as you're not, by virtue of breath. And this idea of forgiveness, I think, could be around, that could help with the offering in this time, or like the giving up of any animosity, the giving up of any grudges you might be holding with any particular person, the construct, people, place, and planet. So maybe where you live, the people around you. Like, there's so much forgiveness available, particularly if you're watching this from the United States or other countries that have had weird situations lately around people running for offices. There might be something here around the power to pull in the power of forgiving those around us, to move into the courage to act from our character, to act from a belief of who we are. So remember, forgiveness doesn't mean allowance, at least in my opinion. Forgiveness doesn't mean, that's okay to be hateful. I'm good for being a hateful person and just let you continue to hate on me or make things dangerous. To me, that's not what forgiveness means. Forgiveness just means, I'm not going to focus my path and how I'm walking and how on your path and how you're walking. There is definitely we're in a collective world. So how another person moves is going to affect those around them 100%. So it's a both end of really seeing, like, yes, there's an impact, but how much am I giving up? Where are the places where I'm giving up my imminent power because there's an impact? There is boundaries and protections that you can set, that you can consider on allowing, on yielding that imminent power to someone who's powering over your experience. And perhaps the offering is that forgiveness is the way to find justice in this situation, and that can lead to some fairness, some forgiveness, some facing consequences for those around us. I mean, I thought right there was like, wow, how powerful would it be if more of us understood our imminent power and that collective nature of that power, and regarded our intuition? Like, the forces of power over it could not stand. It could not stand in the face of that. It's like, and the reason that it's so powerful now is that it also has done for millennia, has done a really amazing job to make us forget and disregard the divine feminine and the power that comes with regarding your intuition and really stepping into that. So I do think for healing healers and generational transmuters, we came here at this time, in this moment, to be part of what helps Earth transition to a different paradigm, to not more toxic masculinity, more white supremacy, more patriarchy. No, tides are turning. So that's going to lead me to the third card. So the third card, which is what is a sign for an alignment process. So a consideration, a sign for how to align with this idea of the offering that you're giving, and with Saint Perpetua holding us in this idea of the authentic self, and like, you've got this, is it's coming out of the energy of love, which is it's very specific. It's not like this no, we're in February, right? So it's not this commercial consumeristic idea of Valentine's Day. It's this messages about exploring, understanding, and stepping into the state of oneness, right? The embodiment and presence of divine love. Wow, this is a really clear message to me. I hope I'm being able to give it to you in clarity, the way that I'm getting it. Like, an alignment process is explore how fear can impact your state of being. Remember when I said that, when I first was reading the offering card, I got this message of like, the offering is fear. Sacrifice the fear that this construct, that toxic masculinity, that white supremacy, patriarchy has given us, all of us, has given us as a mode of being with ourselves, with each other, with the planet. Sacrifice, make fear the offering. And the alignment process that you can consider is to explore that. Remember, I said the way in, this is transmuting the I. So the way out is in, the way through is in. So explore how fear can impact your state of being, and do it through love, through this understanding and presence, the embodiment of divine love. And I really think it is for yourself to really to step into that courage that Perpetua was able to do in her authentic self. So this understanding that as I said before, I am worthy, perfect, and whole, exactly as I am and exactly as I am not, by virtue of breath, by virtue of being born. So a consideration for your alignment process to get into being able to regard your intuition, to forgive, to make these offerings, is to explore how fear is impacting your current state of being. And now this is coming in through an elemental card of air. So that could be, for some folks, it's communication, right? So it's how am I communicating? Yes, externally, but really what I'm getting is yourself in communicating. It's a call to pay attention to your thoughts. So when you are fearful, what are you communicating to yourself, to your surface self, to your deeper self, in terms of that fear and what it means for your being? And remember that you can lean into, when you remember and regard your immanent power, you have the strength to step into it. And that the times or moments when you don't, then don't. Hey, this isn't bigger, better. This isn't quantity over quality. This isn't bigger is better. All that stuff that is our current construct, that's not. Let's release that. Give that up as an offering as well, right? So lean into your intuition, the really clear divine feminine energy. Along that journey, you're going to find places where forgiveness is necessary. So remember and regard your immanent power, that forgiving someone doesn't give them power over. It actually leans you into your own power, your power within. And that's going to move you to being able to really communicate with yourself and explore fear and how that's impacting your state of being. Beautiful. Thank you, universe, for that message. So I have 3 other cards that I want to offer. They could all have the same message, because it depends on who you are and what's going to help you process. But this final message is meant to help you process this totality, the offering, the energy of Saint Perpetua, and the considerations for your inward gaze. This is going to be for folks who are doing ancestor work. If you work with your ancestors, this is going to be a message from ancestors to help ground and process this consideration. And this is Mother of God, miracles in motion. Number 42. So 4, 2, or 6 might be of importance to you. This is from Secrets of Ancestors Oracle, Abiola Abrams. One of my favorite texts. I have a lot of favorites, but this is up there. So she calls this the suit of Ashe, Mother of God, miracles in motion. You are the architect of your own existence when you tap into the wisdom of the great mother that you have within. Ashe. Yep. Immanent power, immanence. Heaven and the earth are connected through you, but still you doubt yourself. Believe in you now. Birthing miracles is easy for you. So it's hearkening back to that authenticity, the courage to believe in yourself and to be that authentic person and offer up that disbelief. Trust your inner voice. You are being divinely guided and are much wiser than you think. Be easy and deliberate as you move forward, but do move forward. So the ancestral memory, Mother of God shows up as Yoruba goddess Iyanle. with the nurturing energy of protection, love, and support. Her energy is ancient and material. She is primordial source of all existence, mother of all of the gods and all living things. We are all her children. So if you need some ancestral medicine, if you feel like you are struggling with this idea of stepping into your inner voice, trusting your inner voice, Ilanine is mother goddess energy, balancing your yin energy to bring the healing you require. Yin energy is the divine feminine, right? That yin energy is the divine feminine. It is your intuition. And so her message is, my child, receive your wisdom, receive your guidance, receive your truth and well-being. If you are feeling like this is really hard, when I started reading that card, you're like, ooh, can't even process that, be in that. There might be some shadow work there. So the message is, we can learn things the easy way and we can learn them the hard way. Every time you ignore the inner mother voice within, you're choosing a more difficult path. The declaration for this is all things are possible. And there's a note here that this corresponds to the High Priestess card in the modern tarot deck and the energy of Juno. Beautiful. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, ancestors. Okay. For those who are more planetarily aligned, we're going to pull a card around astrology. Know that, however I did, I'm going to read the card from the author. They made this deck, but I'm also going to interpret it from the lens of evolutionary astrology. Because I do believe in that inner gaze, and using archetypal energy of the planets as a means to better know the self from a place of compassion, grace, love, kindness. That there's nothing wrong with us. We're all in a journey, on a human journey, to learn what it means to be human. Okay. The transits, 55. 5 is change. We are definitely in a moment of change. So I love this. So even this is like see the spiral there, the person in the middle sort of like figuring out remember I said it actually makes me think of this energy over here. I said that they're in a womb, in a void. I feel the same thing. And then there's all these different things. The planets are moving around on the outside and offering different opportunities to regard the intuition, to forgive, and to explore. But let's see what the guidebook. This is from Star Codes Astro Oracle, Heather Rowan Robbins. And again, either the number 5 or the number 10 might mean something for you. And this is from the changing state section of this deck. Transits, climate. The planets are always moving through time and space, always spinning around us. When those planets form geometric relationships to one another, they create transits. Excuse me. The astrological weather conditions of the day that affect us all. Oh, there's something about that. I need to take a sip of tea. I clocked that for myself. There's something in that message I know I'll come back to for myself. Okay. When a moving planet forms a geometric relationship to a planet in your natal chart, that transitioning planet can act like a guest who enters your house, sits in your kitchen, or sprawls in your living room. It activates the part of your existence. It activates that part of your existence. In that transiting planet talks to your Mars, it activates your warrior nature. And if that transiting planet talks to your Mars, it activates your warrior nature and fight or flight response. If it talks to your moon, it initiates a story centered around your home, your family, and how you nurture yourself. Action. This situation is in flux. So this situation, either you have something in mind or your journey here, this journey of understanding people, place, and planet of where you are right now is in flux. And the surrounding conditions are changing. Oh my goodness, yes. Stay alert, aware, and be ready to respond to incoming dangers and opportunities. Some people are moving in, others are leaving. New opportunities open and old chapters close. Listen to the grapevine for changes in personal or economic conditions. You are not in control of these elements, but you can make the most of these changes and dance with fate. People that walk into your life now may be karmically important. Either the relationship will last a long time or it may be short, pithy, and teach you a valuable lesson. It can be helpful at this point to look at the transits in your natal chart. There is no volume control on this card's energy. Transits may trigger a small change in the person around you, or it could signal a shooting star that blazes across your life and turns your direction entirely. You have choices, though. Ask for grace and guidance when responding to the changing circumstances. I would definitely use this energy if you're a planetary person around this idea of the offering, choosing authenticity, and this process of like regarding your intuition, forgiveness, understanding your imminent power, and exploring fear. As I'm doing this reading, we're in this really amazing moment of early in Piscean energy, and Neptune is doing its thing. There's a evolutionary astrologer. I'm going to link it again in the description. There's an evolutionary astrologer named Iris Gildea who has a channel on YouTube called Madrona Pulse Teachings. And in my opinion, my understanding of the planetary aspects beyond like looking at my sun star astrology has been amazing. That she really helps one understand these archetypes and this energy in a way that is about what this is saying here, having understanding that these planets are transiting through our chart and they're guests in our living room. And sometimes we have guests that are uninvited and sometimes they're invited. But this is basically telling me that, this might be something that you're experiencing this through the Neptunian energy, and what is to come in, we don't even know. Like, we're in a moment of time that is beyond what we can actually comprehend, because planetarily, the way the planet and our galaxy is moving right now is a way that in a lot of ways, some of it is like 26,000 years, 146 years, like these massive numbers that as humans, we really can't comprehend. So this might be telling you that, similar to this message, this has something to do with that energy that's coming in. So check that out. And then lastly, for folks who are more about the animal kingdom, and it would be helpful to have an animal energy to understand and ground and process this message. I'm going to pull again from Kim Kranz. Oh, that deck needs it. There you go. And this is from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. Animal Spirit is for folks who are processing this message from their relationship to animal beings. And the crow. I mean, you really can't get any more of a divine feminine line going down right here than pulling the crow. Shay, thank you, universe. She's got jokes for us, folks. She's got jokes for us. Okay, the crow. Let's see. It's gonna be here, I believe. Okay. Oh, that's not where I thought it would be. It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it is air. Okay. The crow. Spiritually strong, creative, and watchful. Yeah, and I'm actually, wow. Whoa. Look what I just noticed. Look at this and this. I guess it's the same author, so it kind of makes sense. But if we were going to make a connection, I would definitely make a connection to, remember I said that, some folks who are coming to this reading, you've been in a womb, you've been in a void, you've been in your own space doing what you need to do to figure out who you are, this moment of time to step into that authenticity. And then everything else is out here, right? This is the rest of the world. And look, we've got the crow. perched up on the world. So the crow is spiritually strong, creative, and watchful. The crow has long been a symbol of magic. Yes, Ache. A crow personality is drawn to the supernatural and has a gift for seeing the unseen, knowing the unknown. It is said that the crow holds within its mind eye the three realities: past, present, future. Crow energy is potent and should only be tapped into when the mind is clear. Those with crow tendencies must balance their lives with a healthy diet, joyful friends, and regular self-study. So I'm wondering, I'm getting the message that maybe if this is the card you're using to sort of sink into this energy, into this reading, that the offering is to give up this idea that you're not magic, right? Maybe it's like whatever word you might use, shaman, priestess, witch, hoodoo, whatever word you might use to talk about a way of being that is connected to the unseen, to the elements, to earth, to all energy and creatures, that there might be an offering to be made around that path that you're in. So you'll know what that path, if you're deep in it, you'll know what that offering is. For folks who are new to this, you may not know what that offering is. So it may be you've been grappling with whether or not you want to step into that identity and that authentic part of you. And so this might be a sign that you might want to consider that. When this is in balance, when this crow energy is in balance, as you're going through this message, you're gonna sense your psychic nature. You're gonna feel strong. You're gonna feel clear. If it's out of balance, you are gonna feel ungrounded and hypersensitive. And so, to bring it into balance, a daily meditation practice would be beneficial. So consider that. So this is the reading for, also you could, I said there was like, you might be one, you could have resonated with all of this. I actually see a resonance in all of these cards together, the three that we pulled here, in terms of understanding this offering, making an offering to be my authentic self. And as I'm making that offering, stepping into my intuition, because my intuition is going to help me know the boundaries and the protections necessary to be in this world as my authentic self. And that in order to do that, there's probably some forgiveness that has to happen. Right now, I'm getting the message, forgiveness to myself for not being my authentic self. And to do that, remember and regard your imminent power. That this is, your soul is on a process. Your soul is on a journey. And maybe it had to go through not believing or not being authentic self, living in a mask to get to this place now of understanding, remembering, regarding your imminent power. And as you do that, you're going to step into where you can see that fear, and step into that with compassion, grace, understanding that there's an opportunity for learning, to see how that fear is impacting your state of being, the thoughts that you're having. And in that, know that you're being held by the mother of God. You're being held so tightly. You are loved. And that inner voice, as you do this, is going to come up, and she's going to hold that with you. Lean into the planets, lean into the transits that are happening. As I'm reading this in February 2025, we got a lot happening, but my understanding is we got a lot happening for the next 2 years. So whatever you come to this, it is what it is. And the planets are always moving, but I will say in particular right now, lean into an understanding of what's happening. I'll put a link to the website that I use to look at the transits. And I'm very, very new to this, but this particular website is really helpful. I have found it, in my opinion, very helpful to look at my birth chart, my natal chart, and then see how the planets are moving now. That's what they call transits, how the planets are moving, how that's affecting my original birth chart, my natal chart. And that's what helps you understand, to specify, to customize your inner world of eyes, when you're looking at the natal chart and astrology. And then just start paying attention to the crow. Are you seeing crows? I mean, corvidae, as they're very large numbers in the United States. So, I don't know about other countries, but Either pay attention to the actual reality of crows coming into your real material world or coming in terms of your psychic world, your intuition, and see where that takes you. I think that that's enough. No idea how long this reading is, but yeah, I want to thank all the energies that showed up, our ancestors, our spirit guides, our angels, our archangels, our higher selves. I want to thank the energy for giving us this message. I want to thank you for showing up for this message. And I'm going to ask that my energy stay with me. I'm going to say, my energy stays with me. Your energy stays with you. I offer these considerations in this message with kindness, with compassion, with grace. May you use your discernment and decipher what is yours, leave for others what is not. Unfettered and infinite love and gratitude. Shane. Hello again, this is Deidre. Just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to take this message in. I hope that it offers you what you and your parts and your pieces are looking for. If you are interested in learning more about this idea of transmuting the I, insight conversations, options available, please check out my website. I won't reach out to you, but you sure can reach out to me. And after that, maybe we'll be in conversation about something or another. Please, if this type of format content moves you, be great if you could subscribe to help me grow my channel. And I'm, to be transparent, I'm growing my channel to try to drive folks to my website and the offerings there that are available in terms of transmuting the I and content called Sacrifice the Patriarchy. So you subscribing, liking, sharing really helps to that end. And I don't do other social media, so I'm not driving traffic this way in that manner. I'm basically growing it from word of mouth. So if you're so inclined and want to help me with that, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Even if you're not, still hold grace, compassion, kindness for you and your journey. Thank you.